Hello. So as I was working on a video, on a much larger video, this one is not that video. That video is gonna come pretty soon. And the image that you see behind me or on the screen is from that video. As I was working on it, I came across one little curious thing that I feel like is important to share and important to showcase to all of you. So I'm gonna do that. And the story goes like this, right? I'm rendering out these images. Again, for the upcoming video, I'm rendering out these images, and as I reach the interior renders, wherever they are, here they are, I can start seeing curious things happening, right? These kind of overblown areas where spots are too bright. And I actually extracted, I've extracted one render right here where it's really apparent. This is like the interior scene and this is the render of it, where it's really apparent, this overblown bright area. And the problem is that, well, I could technically, just for this particular render, I could tone down the sunlight and kind of recalibrate the lights to make it good, but then it would mess up all of my other shots, right? So I don't really want to do that. Instead, I want to have some sort of way of how to not burn out those pixels. And there are kind of two ways. One way is in V-Ray settings, if you open it up, V-Ray settings, what am I saying? V-Ray frame buffer, if you open up the, whatever these are called, like the adjustments, I guess, and you slap on exposure adjustment, then you can choose to not disable, but tone down the highlight burn, right? But usually this is not enough, or usually this makes it super flat, makes the image super flat and still messes up your pixels. So I don't feel like this is the best way to do it. A much better one is saving your image not as an 8-bit JPG file, but rather as a 32-bit EXR file, right? And I'll explain what that means in just a second, right? So if I just go here and I save current channel, instead of PNG or a JPEG, if I choose open EXR image, EXR, and I've already saved it, right? So if I just save it, it's going to save as a 32-bit image. So the difference between 8-bit and 32-bit is that 32 bits has more data about colors at different brightness levels, right? So in an 8-bit image, do I have it opened? Just a second. I think it's here. Yeah, there we go. In an 8-bit image, pixels that are here, even if I, let's say in Photoshop, if I open it up, right, and I try to, I don't know, let's try brightness contrast. I tone down the brightness even more. You can see that the pixels here are completely gone, right? They're completely destroyed. There's nothing there in the hotspots. Well, there is a little bit of detail there, but not much. While if I open up the EXR image in Photoshop, that is the wrong folder, that is the correct folder. There we go. By the way, you need to choose it as an alpha channel and hit OK. So as I have it here, if then I go to image, adjustments, and I don't choose brightness contrast because that's whatever. I use HDR toning, right? Because this is a high dynamic range image because it has 32 bits. So if I choose this, and then instead of local adaptation, I use exposure and gamma because that's very simple to explain. Exposure and gamma, and then I decrease the exposure value. Well, not by that much. You can see that now I can play with the brightness quite with much more control. So let's say -2 stops in exposure and 1.5 in gamma range, right? And the image still looks natural, right? That's the strength, or that's the benefit of using 32-bit images. And I feel like it's overlooked, at least in the student area, right? In the professional world, of course, it's used. One little note before I move on and actually show you my workflow with EXR images is that if you can't open it up in Photoshop, then the website that you're looking for is EXR.io. There we go. EXR-io.com. It's a free, whatchamacallit, like a free plugin for Photoshop to open up the images. Right, so now my workflow, right, to actually make this image nicer, not overblown. I will not, let's do it from the start, right? Let me close everything and just open up just the EXR image, right? I open it up, alpha channel, hit OK, right? So I have it here, and now to adjust the brightness of it, I will not do HDR toning. I will immediately go to image mode, and I will switch it from 32 bits to 8 bits, back into 8 bits. As I do that, it's going to ask me, okay, sure, but you're removing a lot of information. Which mode or which what kind of toning do you want to do? So it does the HDR toning immediately for me. And instead of local adaptation, so local adaptation will look at the different areas, different regions, and it will increase or decrease brightness and contrast according to the kind of averages of those regions. I don't like this. I don't like this method at all. Instead, I either use exposure and gamma, as I showed you before, but honestly, most of the time I use highlight compression. It's basically going to tone down all of the highlights so that neither one of them are getting burned out, right? And it's going to keep the shadows the way they are. So I don't need to worry about overblowing my image in my renders because I can fix it immediately in Photoshop. So as I do that, I hit OK, and you can see that the image becomes very flat. So there are two things that I need to do. One is adjust the levels. Control L or Command L, I guess, if you're a Mac user. Levels. Here, levels shows me all of the pixels in my image and their distribution according to how dark they are, right? So the left-hand side is all of the dark pixels, the right-hand side is all of the bright or white pixels. So you can see that the white pixels, there's almost none. That's because all of them were kind of pushed away from the, pure white color range because of the HDR toning. So I can kind of bring it back, increase the contrast a bit, like that. So a little bit of burning in the lamps won't hurt. So I'm just bringing it back just a tiny bit. And same thing for the dark pixels. I can see that they immediately jump up, but maybe we just just a little bit increase the contrast in these edges right here in the grid right in front of us. Once that is done, we're almost there. One last thing that highlight compression tool does, or not tool, method does, it tones down the colors as well, right? So the colors don't pop anymore, but we can bring it back very, very easily if we go to Image, Adjustments, Vibrance, and here in Vibrance, we increase the vibrance by whatever, 25 or 50. I usually use either one of those. Let me show you 100 so that you can see what's up. That's 100. That's minus 100. That was the original one. And so we do like 25, I guess, for this particular image. We don't want it to be too orange. The reason why I don't use saturation is because Saturation is yucky. So with saturation, if we do 25, you can see how orange it gets, right? Super intense. Like 100, saturation is just unusable. Minus 100, of course, it's desaturated completely, right? So it's you need to be much more careful when you work with saturation. With Vibrance, you can get away with using bigger numbers. That's it. So I use 25 here. Hit OK. And now we have an 8-bit RGB regular image that we can save as a JPEG image. And actually, let's see a side-by-side comparison. Save as, where is it? JPEG. Hello? Oh, right. New Photoshop. Save as a copy. I don't know why they changed it, but they did. Interior tutorial. Okay. 2. Hit save. Hit OK. Open it up. Side-by-side comparison of the two. That is the incorrect one. Where is our original one? There we go. Up. Yes. Great. So you can see the immediate differences, right, between the two. I would argue that this one is a little bit better. And that is it. That is about it. That's all I wanted to kind of showcase in this video. A much bigger one and much extensive one is coming up hopefully soon, unless I will encounter some problems. That's about it. I'll see you next time. Bye.